Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's time to make this rustic two-tier tray that's not antiqued. You'll need this plunger, sandpaper, cake pan, pie pan, pizza pan, binder rings, all from the Dollar Tree, as well as wood screws, a screw gun, drills and screw set, tape measure, marker, scrap piece of wood, miter saw, and miter box. First thing I'm going to do is take the rubber part off the plunger. Then you're going to take your 3 pans and we're going to sand each of their surfaces. If you watched my previous video for the antiqued rustic tray, then you'll see that I learned this the hard way. Sand all your pieces first. And if you notice here, I kind of sat on the pizza pan. So try not to crush your equipment before you use it, I'm just saying. I also use the sandpaper to take the opportunity to get off any of the gummy residue from the labels. And then you just want to sand the surfaces that you'll see. Now we're going to mark center for each pan. I'm eyeballing this set. If you want to see how I measure exactly, you can check out the other video. I'll link it down below and up on the card. Then you're going to glue the underside of the pizza pan to the underside of the pie pan, and this is going to create the footed base. And then using your block of wood so that you don't screw into your table or your surface, we're going to find and drill a hole center in each pan and then put them off to the side. Let the glue set a little bit. Then we're going to peel the sticker on the plunger handle and we're going to mark a line around. I just used my finger. I held my pinky on the edge of the thing and hold the magic marker tight and just spin the pipe around so it marked evenly. I'm using the hacksaw, or trying to use the hacksaw from the Dollar Tree from my previous videos, but it wasn't really cutting straight. So that's when I went ahead and I switched to the miter box and miter saw for the future cutting. So once I cut through, I realized it was very crooked, but you go ahead and sand the bottom. I just used the sandpaper from the Dollar Tree. I used I think an 80 grit, and then I went to a 150 grit. But I'm trying to sand it flat, and I realized that that's not going to work. Then you want to drill a hole down the center of the dowel, which I'm just using, I know which drill bit works for the screws that I'm using, but you want to use a drill bit that's slightly smaller than the wood screws that you use. We pre-drill in wood so that we don't split it, okay? And I know it sounds weird that we're going to screw this together, then take it apart to measure, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to screw the base on and then decide where I wanted my second tier to go. So you'll see that here in a second. So then I'm just holding the cake pan up to the dowel to figure out just about where I want to have it sitting. So then I'm going to mark it with a Sharpie, just a general idea of where I want to cut it. And then I'm going to unscrew it. And then I'm going to put this dowel in the miter box and I'm going to cut exactly where my mark is. For those of you who've never used a miter saw or a miter box, it is a very handy tool to have for any DIYer. Not only does it help with these dowels, but any trim that you have, any small pieces of board that you need to cut a 90-degree or a 45-degree angle on, it really is a great investment, and they're not very expensive from Lowe's or Home Depot. You can pick up a miter box and a miter saw. I got this set for less than $10. So now you want to take your sandpaper and you want to sand off all your rough edges, anywhere you just sawed. You know, because this is an inexpensive dowel, it can splinter because you know, that can happen from time to time. But you just take your sandpaper and just knock off all of the rough edges. And then again, I'm gonna eyeball my drilling, but I've got a lot of experience in drilling. If you don't, good place to practice. You don't forget to wear safety equipment. Okay, so this is the dowel that's gonna go between the two pans. And I've drilled 2 holes in the top and 1 hole in the bottom, as you saw before. So what this is gonna do is I'm gonna drill this cake pan 2 screws down into the dowel, and then there's going to be 1 screw coming up that attaches the top handle. So what I'm doing here is lining up the 2 holes and placing 1 hole in the center. So if you see here, there's 3 holes on this pan. Let's see if we can get it up close. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 screw up into the top handle and 2 screws down into the bottom handle. So here I just want to make sure that I have the 2 holes lined up properly before I go ahead and glue the center screw in. If you're off a little bit, then you can go ahead and readjust your pilot hole. You can also screw in at an angle, which is what I ended up doing because I kind of felt like it would give a little bit more of a grab. Okay, so then I am testing my spacing with all of the screws. So what we're going to do eventually is we're going to glue the screw that's going to go up into the handle in place before we go ahead and attach the pizza pan to the bottom handle. Okay? So what I'm doing here is we call dry fitting. I'm basically assembling it without the glue screw just to make sure that there is enough space, that there's enough coverage. I wanted to make sure that the dowel that's going to eventually be the handle covers the 2 screws that are going into the bottom handle. So then I'm just going to take it all apart now that I know that it works. I'll just disassemble. Johnny 5, disassemble. Just kidding. I watch too many movies. We're going to go ahead and disassemble everything, and then we're going to get some glue. What I'm using here is the Crazy Glue E6000 combination. It's not E6000, it's Fix-All from the dollar store. So put a little Crazy Glue and then a little Fix-All adhesive. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue the screw that's going to go up into the handle, and then we're going to go ahead and screw the spacer bar that's between the 2 pans back on with the 2 screws. We're going to have to let that set 24 hours before we tighten the handle on there. What we're going to do now is we're going to add a little glue to the top of the pizza pan where we're going to screw in the base. We're just going to use the screw and glue method because it always is the best. And I'm using the Fix-All adhesive, which will work metal to wood. Okay, and then we're just screwing in from the bottom through the pie pan and pizza pan. And then just going to go ahead and let it set and dry. While that's drying, I'm going to take the top handle and I'm going to drill in about 1 inch down from the very top for the ring handle. If you guys have seen the other tutorial, you know that the jump ring becomes the handle. And I'm very, very sorry that this was off camera, just ever so slightly. But we basically drilled a hole, like I said, 1 inch to 3/4 from the top of the dowel, however long you want your handle to protrude. And we put the jump ring on through the hole on both sides and squeezed really hard. Unlike when it was going through the metal, this did not connect on the inside, but it is held in by the tightness of the wood and it is firm. So then once the glue has set, I went ahead and I hand tightened it, and I wanted to show you. It's not totally flush because of the screws, but it does look really good. And I wanted to show you. I sat on my pizza pan. I'm sorry, don't sit on your pizza pan or else you get a bump like that. I just think it adds to its old antique-y weathery look. But this one I went ahead and I left natural. I didn't stain the dowel rod. I didn't do anything to the aluminum pie pans or the jump ring because I did want this one to age naturally. I need to move these off of this placemat because it's a little wobbly. Okay, well there it is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And as always, take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!